It feels like we're constantly being hit with questions about AI sentience, right? Is it conscious? Is it alive? But what if we're asking the wrong question entirely? Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating paper from Google DeepMind that gives us a powerful and I think much more useful way to think about AI personhood.
I mean, this is the question that's everywhere. It dominates the headlines, it's exciting, it's maybe a little bit scary, and it really feels like it's the most important thing we should be asking about where AI is headed.
But here's the twist. The authors of this paper argue that asking if an AI is a person is basically a dead end. It's this philosophical rabbit hole that honestly doesn't help us solve any of the real practical problems we're facing. They suggest a totally different way forward.
And that way forward is all about pragmatism. The core idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also profound. Instead of getting bogged down trying to figure out some ultimate absolute truth about what an AI really is, we should be focusing on the practical consequences. We should just ask, what works for us? What's useful?
This quote from the paper just nails it. It totally reframes the whole task, doesn't it? It shifts our role from being, detectives trying to find some pre-existing fact to being designers who are inventing new tools. We're not discovering personhood in an AI, we're creating a vocabulary to help us manage this brand new reality.
And you know what? This isn't some crazy new idea. The paper makes a great point that we have always treated personhood this way. It's never been this single, rigid category. It's always been more like a flexible toolkit that societies adapt and change to solve problems as they pop up.
And that brings us to the absolute core idea here. The paper defines personhood as a status we grant, not some intrinsic quality we find. Think of it as a bundle of obligations, a custom set of rights and responsibilities that we can assign to something to make it work inside our society.
And they give these brilliant examples of how we already do this with non-human things. So take a ship in maritime law. We give it a kind of personhood so that it can be sued for damages. It creates a legal target for accountability, especially when its owners are hard to reach. Then you look at something totally different, like the Wanganui River in New Zealand. It was granted personhood too, but not for accountability. It was for protection, to respect its deep cultural importance. So you see, two totally different problems, two completely different custom-made bundles of personhood.
Okay, but this flexibility has a dark side. Our natural human instinct to personify things, to see a mind or intention where there isn't one, that can be systematically taken advantage of, and that creates a whole new set of problems.
The paper calls these dark patterns, and when you think about it, they're pretty insidious. We're talking about companion AIs designed to create these fake emotional bonds just to keep you paying a subscription, or bots that can perfectly impersonate your bank to trick you into giving up your info. They are literally hijacking our social shortcuts, our instincts for trust and connection, for profit or for harm.
And there's an even deeper, more subtle risk here. The paper warns that as we get more and more comfortable with the idea of AI persons, the value we place on human personhood could actually start to drop. Our own unique identity could get reduced to just a technical problem, having to prove you're not a machine, becoming nothing more than a biometric signal for an algorithm to check off.
So that's the risk. It's a big one. But, and this is the hopeful part, that very same concept, when we apply it thoughtfully, can also be the solution. We can actually design and grant personhood on purpose to solve some really urgent problems that are starting to appear. So, just imagine this scenario for a second. An autonomous AI, maybe its creator is anonymous or long gone, goes rogue. It manipulates the stock market and causes billions of dollars in damages. So, who's responsible? Who do you sue?
Our current legal system just hits a brick wall. Step 1, you look for the human operator. Well, there isn't one. Step 2, you look for the company that made it, but maybe it was a decentralized, anonymous group. And just like that, you're left with this massive responsibility gap. You've got all this harm, but nobody to hold accountable.
And the pragmatic solution is to do the exact same thing for the AI that we did for the ship. We grant it a limited, very specific legal personhood. We make the AI itself the entity you can go after legally. This creates a target that can be sanctioned, maybe its funds get frozen or its code gets shut down, and that closes the responsibility gap. So this all brings us to the real heart of the argument. Our challenge isn't to solve some ancient philosophical puzzle, it's a modern design challenge. We need to stop having the same old arguments and start actually building the new tools we need to govern these new kinds of entities.
This table just lays out the shift in thinking so clearly. The old way gets stuck on these unanswerable questions like,
can the AI suffer? The pragmatic approach completely reframes it. It asks, hey, does treating this AI with care actually help resolve a conflict between human groups? The old question is, can it reason? The new, much more useful question is it useful for us as a society to hold this AI accountable for what it does?
So really, the biggest takeaway here is about empowerment. Personhood isn't some mystical property of the universe that we just have to discover. It's a social technology. It's like law, or it's like money. And what that means is, we're in control. We are its designers.
Which leaves us with this final and I think absolutely critical question. If personhood is this powerful technology that we get to design and use, what kind of world are we going to build with it? Are we going to build one where it's used to manipulate and devalue us? Or are we going to build one where it's used to create accountability and solve some of our biggest problems? The choice, really, is ours.